Hafaday, Tirawami, and good evening, Commonwealth. Today is Wednesday, August 31st, 2016. The decision by the Department of Homeland Security to grant a form of relief for CW workers who have remained on Saipan since the cap was reached in May comes with mixed reactions by many, and the situation with the CW cap here in the Northern Mariana Islands is now gaining the attention of media in other parts of the world. The story is broadcast by Al Jazeera English, an international state-funded 24-hour English-language news TV channel headquartered in Qatar in the Middle East. A woman who has lived on Saipan for 20 years and is facing returning to the Philippines because of the CW cap is featured in the story. Governor Ralph Torres is interviewed and expresses sympathy for those affected by the cap. In his interview, the governor states, "Home is where you feel it's home." Today, Governor Torres had this to say regarding the recent decision by the Department of Homeland Security to provide a form of relief in the form of deferred action for those that meet criteria, which includes long-term residency and other such criteria as children who may be affected.
But now that it's out, I'm happy that there's some sort of relief, although there's still an extra process that needs to be done. But at least that allows the CW workers to stay on island and to go through the same process that everybody has to go through. But at least allow them not to be denied entry, re-entry, or probation for those that expired.
And with the good news for some CW workers with special circumstances, such as a spouse and children here in the CNMI, that there is now a way to remain here, there comes confusion for some on whether or not they should leave Saipan or return home. Bijo Krishno Kundo has lived in the CNMI for 20 years. He says he planned to leave tonight to go back to Bangladesh with his family because his CW visa expires on September 3rd.
It's very complicated for me. And now I'm really confused for this situation. And like what I need to do also, I don't know. Is I'm leaving tonight or I stay, I don't know.
He says he had already bought tickets for his wife and 3 children when he heard the news about a form of relief for CW workers.
Very expensive the ticket of Bangladesh. So I don't know really what I need to do. And I try my best what is I can do for my family. I like to save my family and I like to stay here legally.
He says he doesn't have much time to decide if he will use those tickets.
I have only just few hours to take decision, but I don't know what I need to do. And this rule and regulation come out only newly. And this is not clear everything.
He says he does not know whether deferred action will apply to him or whether he will be able to work at his job as a security guard if he stays.
If I take them is Bangladesh, it's a little bit hard to adjustment meantime. But if we no need to go, if we stay here, we can survive.
He says he was not able to get answers from the agents at the USCIS office because he did not have an appointment.
They say no need to go, you can stay here. But if I can work, continue, is no problem. I can survive everything. But if I petition this one, his company not give me job, what I need to do and how I can survive.
And one woman who has become the face of the crisis tells us that for some there is little reason to celebrate. CW worker Mami Ikeda says there is a lot of confusion over the new rules for a form of relief for remaining CW workers.
I went to the USCIS website and a lot of the explanations and the terminology or the phrasing was pretty much confusing.
She says one of the main issues of confusion is the 240-day grace period.
I'm not sure whether you need to do apply for a deferred action and be approved in order for you to use that 240-day rule.
She says there is also confusion on how long it will take to get a response for an appeal for deferred action.
I don't really know whether that applies to people who are already expired and use the deferred action to make themselves legal instead of, being overstayer. or whether that applies to every single people.
She says she is disappointed the relief will only help some CW workers.
One of the things that first came to me and still is bugging me is the fact that there was no considerations for the people who actually complied to their rules and left the island.
Ikeda says she wishes the decision had come down much earlier. Do you think that this is too little too late?
I do. I think this could have been done earlier, much earlier, when the crisis was just, addressed. And it's been 4 months of nothing happening.
She says the majority of people affected have already left island.
This could have been done earlier. Really, it's so sad that they did this only now. And, if they could have done by one email from DHS, one decision from DHS, then why couldn't they do that earlier?
The trial for Zhao Ping Chen started